Not this level. Not this level. This level haunts Sonic fans' nightmares. Why? Because of all of the tubes. They don't seem so bad now. They look just like the ones in Chemical Plant Zone. Well, they don't look like them, but they function like them. But then you get to the tube mazes. And don't you just love it when you fail platforming section, then you have to backtrack and go through areas you've already been to get back to where you were? That's fun. The annoying thing about the tube mazes is that you've gotta press a certain direction at exactly the right time to get through them. And it's not like there are tube mazes. It's not like all the tube mazes only have you press one direction. And it's hard to figure out exactly when you're supposed to press the direction, because the entirety of a tube will always look the same in its entirety. It's not like there's different sections of the pipe that are colored differently. Oh no. And isn't it great when springs send you into enemies? You hold left there and you prevent yourself from being fired. Hold down there, and that's how you progress. This is happening all so fast I can hardly give instructions. You get a life box there, and jump to the left. Don't jump to the right, because then you'll have to backtrack a whole bunch. That's fun, isn't it? Yeah, this is why I hate this level. Yeah, I failed twice on my way back. And isn't it great when you have so much momentum and you're sent to somewhere so fast that you don't react properly to it. I didn't have nearly as much trouble with that the first time I played. I just immediately jumped to the left. I guess my mind was kind of sluggish. Jump up to the right there, and now jump there, and now then you have to land back on the previous platform. But it's so easy to accidentally jump into the tube. And what if the tube, and look, I can't jump onto that platform because it's so high up. This level gives you no room for error. You can make the tube mazes sort of easier by constantly pausing, but you have no way of knowing except through pure trial and error memorization which parts of the tube you're supposed to press certain directions in. And that's the biggest problem I have with this level. Again, if the entirety of a tube wasn't just one color, one aesthetic, then it would be fine. If different pipes had different colors, so that I could differentiate them from each other, then it wouldn't be so bad. Something else, something I haven't mentioned yet. Yeah, wait here and then jump here. And here's the worst tube maze in the entire game. To this day, I have no idea how I got past this. I followed instructions and everything. And you're gonna see all of my failures. Every single one. What you're supposed to do to get past this is hold, you go down, then right, then left. And that's it. But it sounds simple, right? But you have no way of knowing exactly when you're supposed to press each of those directions, because all of a tube looks exactly the same. This is my second least favorite part of the game to me, because at least when you know what to do, it's not so bad. But with Green Hill Zone Act 3, even when you know what to do, it's still horrible. So that's not the worst part of the game for me. Scrambled Egg Zone Act 2 is where it starts really ramping up the difficulty, because it starts throwing you into inescapable spike pits, like it's Mystic Cave Zone all of a sudden. And you have to be patient, so that you have to make the bombs blow up and then jump to the right. Because if you try to be too fast about it, they'll knock you into the spike pits. And sometimes you can get out of there alive, and sometimes you can't. Don't you just love when you have to retrace all the steps that you already did? Vertical platforming is fun. This is my favorite theme in the game, though. This is my favorite song in the game. Like, it's perfectly suited to the atmosphere. It's so fast-paced, which is good for a Sonic game. And it's full of... It just sounds perfect for a final level. See what I mean? I hate being dropped into spikes. Although at least it wasn't an inescapable one. Yeah, you should go to the right there, not to the left. If you hold A when rolling down that slope, you'll be sent to a higher route with a lot of goodies, so you should probably try to not mess that up like I did the first few times. Now, this is a good platforming challenge, but it's also really complicated and easy to screw up. I got it right in my first try when I first tried it, but you don't want to land on that platform again as soon as you possibly can. You want to make sure that you're in the pipe for longer than normal, and you go to the right. It's hard to explain, like really hard to explain. Basically, you have to make sure that you're in the pipe for a long time, but that's not enough. Even after you delay the amount of time you're in the pipe, you still have to worry about going all the way to the northwestern corner and making sure that you get out of there and landing on the platform again when it's finally reached its area. Like, and sometimes the platform won't be there to catch you. Jump and then hold right, and then hold left, and you'll make your way to the platform and be able to land on it for the third time. I'm not sure how I managed to beat this on the first try when I first played this level. It's Let's Player's Curse in a nutshell. At least Act 2 doesn't have nearly as frustrating tube mazes as the previous act. And then jump to the left once it finishes rising up and moving to the left. Don't jump immediately, because that would suck. And then you just go into here. I love the aesthetic of this level. Like, I love the fact that it's in a cave, and it has this pretty sky, and it's all dark and stuff. And it has grass on it with the rocky ground. It's a unique aesthetic for a level in a Sonic game. And Act 3 is a lot easier than the previous two acts to make you believe. Like, you'd expect something really hard, but it's a vertical platforming level. Yeah, you have to keep holding forwards when they're launching you, or you won't go far enough. You can't just let go of the control pad. And you can actually die near this section by falling to spike pit, so you gotta be careful. But yeah, this is pretty easy. It's all about the diagonal springs. And jump the instant you land on that platform. But the momentum can kind of screw you over. I got it right in the first try when I first played this game, but if you go too far to the left when you land on it, then even if you jump to the right afterwards, you still won't jump into the tube. And this is Silver Sonic. A lot of people say that he's a lot easier than the Silver Sonic in Sonic 2 for the Genesis. And I can see where people are coming from, because all you have to do is never stop jumping. Make sure that you're always in ball form and he can't hurt you. Because you jump into him when he's in ball form, and you just bounce right off him. But when you land on the ground, you're not in ball form anymore. And it's very easy to land on the ground right after you hit him and get hit by him. it's a lot easier to die this guy than it looks. And the most frustrating thing of all is that there's no checkpoint right after him. There's no checkpoint right before him, so you have to go through all of that all over again. And so it drags out a lot more than the boss in Sonic 2. And just like in Sonic 2, you have to fight this without rings. I'm not really sure what Eggman was thinking, giving him a attack where he sends a yo-yo out of his chest to hurt you though. And he looks pretty awful. Like, he looks really awful. If you have all of the Chaos Emeralds to this point, then the final Chaos Emerald will come out of him. And I really hate that. Why do you have to have all of the Chaos Emeralds in order to get a Chaos Emerald from them? I used an emulator in order to show you Crystal Egg Zone. And so I'm sorry about all of the slowdown and stuff. I was recording, this is the first time I ever tried to record with fraps. And it's a European ROM of the game. And in Europe, Sonic games, the classic Sonic games had a frame rate that was half as good as the ones that we're used to, because there was some sort of power restrictions or something. So their Sonic games were half as fast as ours. Crystal Egg Zone, I mean, I like its aesthetic, and its music is okay, but I just hate playing through it. Because there's so many instances where you'll go into the walls and you won't be able to see yourself. I mean, I like breaking through the walls, but I don't like moving around when I can't see myself, you know? And there's a lot of spike pits, and, well, there's barely any enemies in here, and that's good at least. The spikes are glowing yellow for some reason. And this is the first Sonic game to have it so that the spikes and springs are of different colors depending on what level you're in. It's not Sonic Advance 1 that first did that, it's this game. I never noticed when I was playing the game though. It was news to me. But yeah, I hate these things with a fiery passion. First of all, they're really tiny, so it's really easy to miss them, especially when you're trying to land on them after being launched upwards from them. And, like, why do they have to be moving around? That makes it even harder. And you don't move around them in a complete circle. So it makes the timing all the weirder. And it's so hard to get successfully hit the second wheel because it's so tiny. It's such a tiny target. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't see anything. There's no graphical differences between the wall tiles that you can move through and the ones you can't. I mean, at least you can technically see Sonic in there. I forgot that you could, but it doesn't change the fact that you can't see where you're supposed to be going. And this level is longer than levels usually tend to be in this game, and so it really sucks that there's no checkpoints here. Because if you fall into an inescapable spike pit, then you're gonna have to do all of the level all over again. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that the Game Gear's boss theme of this game was remixed as the theme of Metallic Madness for the Japanese version of the game. I never heard it before. Oh look, here's the inescapable spike pit. Here's why this level sucks. And I died twice to it. Wonderful. What good game design. I think I died to it again. Wow. And the Game Gear version and Metallic Madness's theme would later be remixed as the final boss theme for Sonic Chaos, which I also never noticed. I don't like this level very much. Using the cheat code to get to this place was really difficult. You have to enable it by pausing the emulator and having, when you're on a screen like this, then when the screen fades to black, then you have to enable the code. But if you enable it at the wrong time, then then you get loaded into level, but the game is frozen and it's all glitchy, even though the music is still playing. And if the code is enabled at the title screen, then the graphics will be all glitched up. So it was such a pain in the ass just trying to get that level select code to work. You have no idea. And yep, I'm using save states for this one because this boss is tedious. It takes an extremely long time, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. There's these yellow things that fly all over the place, and don't think that you're always safe after you bounce off Eggman, and that, well, the momentum always carries you back into the pipe, but it doesn't mean you're always safe. You're always safe when you're inside of the pipes, though. But the yellow enemies, they move all around the place, and they seem to be moving into the pipes. But that's just to make you paranoid, because they don't actually hurt you. As long as you're in the pipes, you're invincible. But yeah, it's pretty obvious what you need to do here. Just wait until there's a safe opportunity to attack. And whatever you do, don't go down the bottom pipe, because then right after attacking Eggman, you'll have to worry about getting into the lower pipe. And you might have the bottom pipe drop you down onto the middle of the arena, or onto an enemy. And like once you get dropped down by the bottom pipe, then you have to worry about running up to Eggman, jumping at him, hoping that you don't get bounced into an enemy after you jump at him. And there's electricity everywhere, and obviously when the electricity fills the screen, then you can't actually go into the arena safely. Just like in the previous 8-bit Sonic games, well, the first one anyways, the graphics have a weird quirk where the level design can cover up the interface. Like the timer gets covered up by the level design. I'm not really sure how that's possible. I mean, was it impossible for them to fix that glitch? This boss took me forever. Playing this game from my LP, for the most part, it was pretty fun. I mean, there were frustrating parts, but for the most part, I had an enjoyable experience playing through this game. I'm a lot softer on it than most people do. I definitely don't think it's a crappy game like most people say it is. I think most people who hate this game, they didn't get past Sky High Zone at best. And so it soured their impression of the entire game as a whole because of that. But once you know what to do, and granted, just because you can get past something just fine once you know what to do, doesn't mean it isn't horribly designed. I'll admit that. But once you know how to get past those sections, the game can be pretty fun. It's a fun game for the most part. It's a very rewarding platformer. Gimmick Mountain Zone Act 1 is a very rewarding challenge, especially with the moving platforms and the conveyor belts that you have to jump on at exactly the right times. And that's not to say this game is devoid of speed either, because there's plenty of slopes to roll down, and they can launch you. Yeah, this boss fight drags on forever. Playing this game for my LP, this was the first time that I had ever beaten this game. I mean, I beat it for my written review, and by that I mean I got the bad ending. This is the first time that I've ever, playing this LP, this was the first time that I had ever gone to Crystal Egg Zone and beaten this boss. And the incredibly annoying thing is, if you don't have all the Chaos Emeralds at this point, then you're still gonna get the bad ending. I mean, it's not like Twilight Princess with the Dark Mirror pieces. Yeah, even Sonic doesn't know why Tails got there. My theory is that the teleporter that Eggman teleported to had Tails in it. Probably because one of Eggman's robots wanted Tails to get free, and so he lifted Tails up and put him into the teleporter. And so when Eggman used it, it warped Tails over to Sonic. And Tails wasn't aware of what was going on. I just wish that they did more to explain that, because the way it appears in the game, it seems like a very lazy and half-assed ending. In the Game Gear version, the bad ending credits has a lot more depressing music. And for some reason, all of the staff in the credits have pseudonyms. Why? I mean, isn't it against the law not to properly credit the people who made a video game? I mean, this was the olden days, but still. I do love the whole sunset effect thing going on. Like it's really beautiful how the sky changes colors, and I wish there were actual Sonic levels with colors like that. Although I'm not really sure what kind of a sunset would cause the trees to look like white disco balls. I love this game. I don't care what anyone says. It's a fun challenge. It's very satisfying to play through. And, well, the soundtrack isn't nearly as good as in Sonic 1 8-bit. The only song I really like is Scrambled Egg Zone's theme. I like the graphics, although there are a few problems I have with the way the game looks, as that I mentioned before. And the story is kind of confusing. Like, this game was released before Sonic 2 for the Genesis. And personally, I believe that the Game Gear Sonic games, or at least the 2D ones anyways, are canon, because there's no real reason for them not to be. I mean, so there's only 6 emeralds, so what? You know what other Sonic game had only 6 emeralds? Sonic 1. Like, I put this game after Sonic 4 and right after Sonic 3, because it doesn't make sense for it to happen right before Sonic 2 for the Genesis, when Sonic 2 for the Genesis is when Sonic was supposed to have met Tails. I'll be talking about Tails in that game because of that. Yeah, I still got the bad ending. I don't know why. It's heavily implied that Tails dies in this ending, and that's pretty dark for a Sonic game. I mean, in the good ending, you get both Tails and Sonic appearing in the sky, and that seems to deconfirm the implications, but Sonic is still alive. So, I don't know. Like, I don't really like the plot of this game, because it's kind of confusing with Sonic 2 taken into consideration, because I don't think Sonic would have seen Tails as being capable of going on adventures with him safely if he first met him when he was kidnapped. But I don't think that's good enough of a reason to not call this game canon. Basically, I like this game quite a bit, and I think that everyone should at least give it a shot in emulator. I mean, you can get past the difficult parts, and you'll find a really fun game. The next Sonic game I'm going to be tackling is Sonic 2 for the Genesis. Everybody's favorite Sonic game. See you then.